Last year I read 28 books, I think. I think it was 28. The goal was 25. I think I exceeded the goal. This year I've read 2. Hi, I'm Ani Bella and I'm in a book slump. And also, if you watched my last video, yes, I have to batch these because I have to work smarter and not harder. That's the only way you're going to get to see them, is if I batch them, is if I film several videos in one day, or at least a couple. Anyway, in the last video, I talked about being in a book slump. I talked about the things that I have been doing and have been interested in. I think I showed you my gallery wall and some of my crazy projects that I'm doing. They're not really crazy projects, they're normal projects for normal people. It's just crazy to me. And also, there were the dogs. I don't know who let them out. There was that weird like dog thing where the dogs just started howling and barking. And there was no like, because usually that happens when there's like a siren or something. I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, in this video, this very short video, I did mention in the last video that I attempted to read 4 books and I wanted to talk to you about those books. So I have Joan Didion's The White Album, which I actually love. I just can't finish for some reason. I don't know why. I have this other book too, The Lover, that I just had, you guys. Give me one second. The Lover by Marguerite Duras. I don't know. She's French. I'm not. This book has been very interesting. I literally read 11 pages of it. Nothing wrong with the book. It's all me. Nothing wrong with the book. I have found this one to be very interesting. The other 2 books that I'm reading are 107 Days by Kamala Harris, which I love, but it is making me sad. And then Matriarch by Tina Knowles, which again, why have I not finished this book? And I'm going to talk about this one first because I figured out, like, even if I'm not reviewing a book in its entirety, I can still talk about the parts that I've read, right? I can still talk about the book and, the way the tone of the book, some of the things that I've already read, right? I can still talk about those things. So that's technically still talking about reading. Because very honestly, I have to say, I was really trying to figure out how, like, I have a channel that kind of primarily focuses on books and I'm not reading anything. Like, how do you make content for that? It's a struggle. All right, we got a couple minutes before this camera dies. So I'm going to say this really quick. Matriarch. Love it. Love how it started. Love the writing. I've read about a third of the book. It is set in Louisiana, Galveston, LA, probably other places as well. But remember, we've only read a third of the book, so that's all I can tell you about. Tina's upbringing and, being Creole, being from Louisiana, like, I relate so much to her. She was also the youngest of several children. She has nieces and nephews that are the same age as her. I can relate to that as well. She also ended up working in a mall that I used to go to all the time, like, that was near my house. So when she did leave, like, the South and moved to the West Coast, she actually lived near where I lived. Of course, that was way before me, but wow, like, I feel like I can relate to her so much. The historical references and the things that she talks about in the first third of the book are so fascinating. And I think a lot of people only want the juicy, messy stuff. But get past that. Like, every review that I see, they bring up about, Tina's husband, Beyonce's dad, and, all the stuff he did. That is not what this book is about. And if you've only read it for that, if you've only read it for the gossip, if you only read it for the gossip, if you only read it for the mess, you are missing out on so much. Because the way that she breaks down her family and the women in her family and how strong they are and what she goes through as a kid and what shaped her, I feel like the first third of the book itself is a book all by itself. It is amazing. And the part with Matthew Knowles is like, whatever, like, okay, yeah, a little juicy, like, side note. I'm assuming. I haven't gotten to that part. It might be a huge chunk of the book. I don't know. But I'm sorry. I'm not a gossipy person, so I'm just not as interested in that part. Um, Maybe how she navigates it, maybe how it shapes her, maybe how she deals with it. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm not a messy reader like that. Sometimes I like the tea. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we all like the tea, but it's so much. It's such a rich book, and it has so much more to offer than that. So if you're going to pick up that book, just keep that in mind, especially if you like when people talk about history from their perspective and they talk about the challenges that we go through, especially as Black women, but that all people go through. Great book. 107 Days, I've really just cracked that one open. I can't really give a whole lot except I'm loving hearing the story from Kamala's perspective. Like, I witnessed what I witnessed, but now I'm seeing it from her vantage point. That's incredible. And I was enjoying it until I put it down and got distracted. So I can recommend the first part of the book. Love the voice that she's speaking and love how candid she is. Now, these two books, The Lover and The White Album, The White Album I picked up way before Matriarch and way before 107 Days. And I've read through quite a bit of this. And then I think I even skipped around to some stories by accident because I forgot where I left off. And I was like, oh, this looks like a good place to pick it back up. So I've probably read more of this than I haven't. It's a series of essays, so it's not one long cohesive story, but the stories connect because it's still about her life, you know. It's called The White Album because one of the first stories or essays in the book, Joan Didion is in studio with The Doors and they're recording the White Album. And so she's talking about that. But she gets into like the Manson situation, the Black Panther movement, the LA water situation. It's packed with just a lot of historical references. If you don't know this about me, which you probably wouldn't know because I haven't made a video in 100 years, it feels like, I love anything history related, whether it's historical fiction, whether it's real history from someone's perspective. I like knowing things that occurred in history and getting like an inside glimpse into a topic that I may have known a lot about or a little bit about, and then you can give me a different perspective, which is really the thread that runs through the three of the books that I've mentioned already. This is good. I love her tone, her voice in this. I love how she describes the people in the scene and everything, and how she just takes a snippet of what happens or what she witnessed and she expounds on that. She doesn't try to tell you the whole story. It's really good, and I don't know that I've read anything like it before. So I'm loving it, but I can't finish it, but I'm going to finish it, and you guys are going to help me, right? You're going to hold me accountable, right? Okay. You should leave me a comment and say, hey, did you finish the White Album? I'll probably say no, but at least you're holding me accountable. And the last book I'm going to talk about, because I need to go because this camera is going to die, The Lover by Marguerite Duras. It is, I do believe this was written in the 80s. By the way, this was copywritten in 1979. So 1979, late 70s, 80s era book. That's when I was a kid. So it's kind of nice to see my childhood, not my childhood specifically, but what my childhood was like from her perspective, or that time of my childhood. The Lover, I'm not really sure where this is going, but I'm going to read the first passage to you because I loved it so much, and I know that's what's going to help me read the rest of the book. One day, I was already old. In the entrance of a public place, a man came up to me. He introduced himself and said, "I've known you for years. Everyone says you were beautiful when you were young. But I want to tell you, I think you're more beautiful now than then. Rather than your face as a young woman, I prefer your face as it is now. Ravaged." Was that supposed to be a compliment? I don't know. I don't know, but I find it very intriguing. And for me, it could technically be a compliment because when I draw faces, I want to draw faces that are interesting. I don't necessarily want to draw a smooth, perfect, quote unquote, beautiful, flawless face. I want you to have some wrinkles and some lines, and I want there to be some wisdom behind your eyes. I once drew a classmate in one of my art classes, one of my drawing classes. I didn't particularly care for her. She was an older lady. She was very rude and mean. And when I finished, they said that I made her look harsh. Did I? Or did my pencil draw how I felt about her as opposed to what was sitting in front of me? Did I draw her from the inside out? Because I feel like all of the lines on her face and the way that I captured her eyes, that was how she made me feel. I thought it was still beautiful. She wasn't an unattractive woman, but she was older. She did have a lot of lines and wrinkles. And I may or may not have accentuated them a little bit. Not on purpose, to be honest, because I was still learning how to draw. But I don't know. They say pictures don't lie. I don't think drawings do all the time either. No tea, no shade. Anyway, from an artist's perspective, I think that faces that have seen some time and eyes that have stories to tell, I think that's beautiful. So I kind of think I get what the young man or what the man is saying when he says this, but at the same time, no one in 2025 wants to hear that their face is ravaged. I don't know where this book is going. I don't really know very much about it. I am going to attempt to read it very soon and try very hard to get through it so I can talk to you guys about it. But what I will do is read as much as I can and then pop in and talk about it piece by piece, like an ongoing reading vlog, I guess. I mean, that's not all that I'm going to have here for you, but I think it would make some good content. Because if I can't get through this little tiny book before the end of the year, am I even really a reader? Don't answer that. Instead, hit the subscribe button if you like this video. And like this video if you like this video. And leave me a comment and tell me, girl, read a damn book. All right, I'm out. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.